Alhaitham is cracked. And all I can say is, I told you so. What's going on, YouTube? Let you here once again. This time at you again with some more Genshin Impact, and I want to make this video about Alhaitham. I want to talk about my boy here, right here, because he's been putting in work. He's been putting in work ever since he came to my account, and honestly, I'm actually surprised a little bit. I mean, I said he was going to be cracked. I called it, but there's a couple things that did surprise me about his kid. So let's talk about it a little bit here. But besides Alhaitham, in terms of Dea, you know, I'm gonna wait to talk about her a little bit. I'm gonna give her some time, at least till next week or so, because right now I've been high on copium for a while, and you know, hopefully that calms down a little bit by next week when we start seeing some changes. But yeah, that's besides the point there. Right now, in terms of my channel, I'm on the road to 1,000 right now. My goal is to reach 1,000 subscribers by the time March comes around, right? So if you guys can help me out, if you like my content, definitely hit subscribe button right there. We got to get to 1,000, all right? I appreciate the help, appreciate the views and everything like that. All right, so let's keep going. Alhaitham, right? Now, I did make a video at basically talking about how good he's going to be prior to his release. And honestly, the things I said in that video are essentially true. I was pretty kind of spot on with a lot of the different things that I was noticing about him, right? Now, the thing is, I'm actually saying he's better than expected, right? The reason I'm saying he's better than expected is because in that video I also talk about how I don't really pay much attention to multipliers because they're constantly changing and stuff like that. With Alhaitham back in the beta, he did receive a nerf, and everybody doom posted, and they were like, "Oh no, he's gonna be bad," blah blah blah, so on and so forth. But then right after that, they buffed his E basically, right, and making his E hit harder versus normal attacks, right. With that, I think they made a pretty good decision because his E hits like a truck, and if you can keep his E up time, when I'm talking about his E, I'm talking about his mirrors. If you can keep his mirrors up, then he's going to be dealing a lot of damage. He's going to be tearing enemies apart. It's going to be outrageous, right? Especially if you have those spreads and you have somebody with deep wood on the team, like Nahida or somebody, right? It's just going to be a phenomenal showdown, you know. And I didn't expect to hit as hard as it can right now, because I mean, there's points where I can go to the abyss and I can take down the wolf lord without even bursting, because that E hits so hard. I mean, granted, a lot of it does come from Nahida. I do have a C2 Nahida personally, but you know, when you try and calculate how much percentage that does add, that's not doubling my damage or anything like that. It might be adding maybe 18-20% more damage to Alhaitham, if that, when I'm doing that C2 with Nahida there. He's definitely a force to be reckoned with. The thing is too, that I do want to bring attention to, is that people were calling him Dendro Keqing, right? And in my last video, I kept saying, hey, you probably shouldn't call him Dendro Keqing, because he does have visual similarities to Keqing, but he plays different. His kit works differently, right? And I try to say that, and some people still saying, oh yeah, Dendro Keqing, Dendro Keqing. But now, I just want to warn you guys, you know, if you guys are still thinking about him as Dendro Keqing and you get him, you try to play him like you would play Keqing, you are doing the wrong thing, all right? Because that's not how you play him. There's a couple different combos that I've found that you can do with him in terms of using him. But overall, what you want to do is you want to start out his field time with the burst, right? After said burst, there's about 2 seconds where he gets all 3 mirrors, right? You're starting it off with 0 mirrors, and then by doing the burst, you get all 3 mirrors, right? And you want to keep the 3 mirror uptime as long as you can, because while you do that, he's going to be doing his Gilgamesh blades raining down. That's going to be causing a lot of damage. Granted, when he has 2 mirrors, it still does a good amount of damage, but that 3 mirrors is really the sweet spot, right? Once you have that, I mean, granted, within those 2 seconds, if you have low enough ping, you can like swap and do one quick thing with one of your characters, whether that's you can E with Kuki or a quick Nahida E or something like that. If you have low enough ping. If you don't, then just don't worry about it. Just stay on it. And then he gets 3 mirrors. You start doing you know, his attacks. And when you see him do his 2 mirror his two mirror move. You can do your E or you can do a charge attack to get another mirror back, and then whatever the other option after that is will be you do the third time, whether it's an E or charge attack to keep that going. And he's going to be doing a lot of damage every time those E's rain down. It's almost like a burst hitting. So it's going to be a lot of damage, especially if you have some spread teams going and such. It's a wonderful thing. He's doing a lot of damage. Much more than I expected, yeah. So that's the thing. You don't want to play him like Dendro Keqing. You want to play him as his own unit, because he is his own unit. He is doing things. He's doing great. Now, also, the thing with Alhaitham is that his teams are pretty strong. So I've tested out a couple different teams with him. One thing that I didn't calculate initially, right? Because right now the team that I have on right now, Alhaitham, Nahida, Kuki, and Yelan. Yelan wasn't something that I was thinking about doing because I didn't want too much hydro to be applied in order to take away Quicken, because his spreads are going to be his bread and butter. But with Nahida, and well, just him actually, he applies enough Dendro to where it actually stays on, right? Now, granted, in my video I did say that Quick Blue might be his best team, but I wasn't sure of how well he's going to be able to overpower someone like Yelan or Xing Shou's Hydro. But he does it very well. So hands down, Quick Bloom is his best team, from what I've gathered. But he has different teams that he can use, right? You have Yelan or Xing Shou. I prefer Yelan because she's buffing his damage up, and she does more damage, and she can use elegy and so on and so forth. So that's a good thing right there. So she can buff the team in multiple ways while dealing more damage. That's why I have Yelan in there. But you can also use Xing Shou. And another thing that nobody really talks about, right? I mean, granted, Yelan and Xing Shou are going to always do a better job, but you can always use Candace too, right? She does apply a little bit of hydro off field. She does it very slowly, but it is enough to get a couple seeds in, so you can get the couple hyper blooms in. And since she infuses with hydro, that couple seconds after he uses burst when he's doing physical attacks, he'll apply some hydro too. So get a couple seeds in right before he starts going with the 3 mirrors, right? So that's a good thing too, right? Now, there's another comp that I did that was like a good one-shot comp. So this right here, so this is good for when you want to maximize its burst damage right there. So this is something that you play for, like, Abyss or something like that, where you're constantly playing. But if you want to do a very strong burst, this is another good one right here. You can also do just a straight Quicken team. That's actually going to be pretty good. Fisher can hold Elegy, or you can just give her as much damage as you can. So she's also doing that there. So that's a double Dendro, double Electro team. So that works out really well. You can also use Yai. Yai might actually be better in this situation, but that's if you have her. So that's the thing with that. You can also take out Cookie and put in Zhong Li for some extra Dendro res and shielding. You can also even do something like a Burgeon team. You can even do some Burgeon, get those blooms off, so have Tomon there and so on and so forth, as full EM. So yeah, you can do many different things with them. It's the options are pretty limitless, He applies a lot of Dendro, so you don't have to ever worry about Dendro really leaving the enemy. So if you can take advantage of that in any way, shape you can, whether it was Dendro and Hydro, then you're good to go. Or you can just keep it with the Dendro Electro, right? So you can make use of all the Dendro reactions pretty easily when it comes to Alhaitham. So that is a plus, that is a great thing. So if you like Dendro, you're having fun with these new reactions, then he's gonna be a good pick for you. I mean, granted, all this to say is that I think Alhaitham, when I initially talked about him, I put him basically at the top of like an A-tier unit, like maybe around the same tier as Ayato, basically. But now that I'm playing him, now that I've tested him out, and now I've seen what he can do, I'm actually putting him above that. I'm putting him as an S tier right there, right? Like, granted, my tier list has a double S, S, and the A units, and so on and so forth. I put him at the S right there, right up there with Hu Tao and Ayaka, right? Because I do feel he's that good, he's that useful, and he's that powerful. I had him right now. He's at C2, but I used him at C0, and he was putting in the work. He was doing the damn thing. So That's the thing. That's going to be a plus right there. So if you guys are thinking about, if you're on the fence about Ayato, you're looking for a DPS, he's going to be a great pick. He's going to be a great pick. I talked about the weapons that works on him and stuff like that or whatever. So don't fear. That's definitely a good one right there. I definitely put him above Zhao in terms of recommendation. Let me know what you guys think. Definitely comment your thoughts down below. What do you think about Alhaitham? Do you have him? Are you on the fence of getting him? Did this kind of inform you of anything? Like the video if you like the content, and also subscribe to the channel so you can get more content like this. All right. And with that, I'll end it there. Let you know.